Y'all see the description, what it do. Ksoo father just did an interview with Birdman brother Gangster. In the interview, he was saying that Ksoo, I guess he getting threats or whatever, as far as from people in the streets or whatever and shit like that. So he's saying that that could that can mess up his appeal. You know what I mean? So um when you young and your dad tell on you, an appeal at the moment is the least thing you even really, I mean, I ain't gonna say the least thing. I mean, niggas do be thinking like, damn, I'm trying to come back on appeal, you feel me? But a lot of people don't even understand why why is he even speaking on appeal when you the one who got on the stand and helped bury him? You know what I mean? Like, some people don't understand that shit. You know what I mean? And then you keep saying you all he got. How, when you helped put him away? So it's like, that just don't make sense. You know what I mean? So me, I analyze interviews, you know what I mean? I see that he decided to do the interview by the Jacksonville, little port, whatever. And all of that showing that he outside, you know what I mean? I see he ain't had that no hospital gang chain on, but it's just a crazy situation, you know what I mean? Like, when you fully know the situation, yeah, it was messed up that he told, you know what I mean, and shit like that. But it was also messed up though, out of all the people that you call, like, I ain't gonna lie, like, I done been in the streets and a lot of shit done hit the fan, but I ain't gonna call my dad though. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not finna, it's already enough the police know that that's my dad, so I'm not finna, you know what I mean, like, bring heat towards his way. And I done been in the trenches, you know what I mean? I ain't never left, and I never really want nothing to lead to my parents' house type shit, you know what I mean? Sometimes shit can't happen, you know what I mean? But I definitely don't do street activities. And out of everybody that I affiliated with, I call my old man, you know what I mean? You know, even if a parent do lie for their kid, the most charge they catching is a perjury, as far as on, thank you. As far as on lying to the police or something, saying that, the police saying, well, the phone tower saying he wasn't there, and then the dad like, well, I seen him here, he was here to me, so I don't know nothing about that. You know what I mean? But a lot of people in the comments, they speak their mind, you know what I mean? And they speak from, a lot of people probably ain't even got a felony, you know what I mean? So it's like, this dude was already a felon. You know what I mean? You could go look it up. He got a whole damn little mini documentary about him and a dirty cop he was dealing with in Jacksonville. You know what I mean? Go check that shit out. Put in Ksoo father, and his little mini documentary come up about how his case was, and he had a cop that he was doing business with, working with, and all that shit, whatever. Yeah. Maybe the police robbing niggas, like the nigga come cop from him. Police pull him over and take to work. You know what I mean? Like, scumbag activity. You know what I mean? So, type of shit that'll get the belt laid to you. But me personally, I don't understand when he keeps saying Ksoo's associates is messing him up on appeal when you his dad, and you got on a stand on him, you know what I mean? So, you know, normally with the court situation, it normally plays out as far as different as far as the family, like the mother and father, whoever is alive is supposed to be the ones who show up to court and sit on your side for support, you know what I mean? So when you got your mother or father going against you, basically saying you what the state is saying, man, you ain't getting no fucking appeal. You know what I mean? It's hard, even though they had evidence. To me, I feel like the evidence was fluky because it's like I felt like the photo that they showed with the dude running across the parking lot with that thing in his hand. To me, that wasn't Ksoo. That just did look like Ksoo to me. You know what I mean? But and then a lot of people don't talk about Atk Scott that he got done wrong too. You know what I mean? He didn't even get found guilty of the murder. He still got a life sentence. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's just weird to see his dad talking about how his associates and people was messing it up for him, when in reality, you helped bury them. That's why they only gave him 10 for the baby murder, because I'm from Florida, bro. Like, they give you life as life, bro. Like, it ain't no, you know what I mean? This shit is not an act, and Blue know that. You know what I mean? He from Jacksonville, Duval, you know what I mean? That's down the street from us, like 2 hours from me. You know what I mean? So, life is life, dog. You don't come back from that. And then they got the picture of the nigga up. You know what I mean? I see people in the comments because they made him chop his dreads off and all that shit, and calling the man Fleece Booty Johnson Jr. and all that shit. Like, even though he put himself in that situation, because I ain't gonna cap. Before Ksoo went to jail, I was fucking with him as far as on his music and shit, but I'm older than him, you know what I mean? And you know, like I said, I ain't never left the field, but one thing, he was just losing himself. He was wilding, you know what I mean? And that's something that with the time he got, he might not admit to it now. But when 10 years go by and all this time shit go by and all that shit, and niggas getting married, niggas got hella kids and shit like that and all that shit, and you just didn't get a chance to make no kid and even get married. Okay, yeah, you was banging a lot of chicks, you know what I mean? Your best friend was a rapper and you started rapping too, so you have some popularity. You'll get fan mail, you know what I mean? All of that shit to keep your spirits intact, you know what I mean? So, me personally, I heard his dad say in the interview that Ksoo told him he know what he signed up for. Y'all in here hit that like button. And you know, to hear a dude say that to his father, when a dude say that to his father saying that he know what he signed up for, he respect you, but he don't respect you, meaning like, you know, Blue did like 11 years, you know, he was gone so long. By the time a father come back, Big 515J, what it do, family? Your friends 758, what it do, family? Y'all hit that like button. But when you go do time like Ksoo father, I think he did like 11, 12 years, you know what I mean? That's a long time to be missing out of a nigga life, dog. Like, I'm gonna keep it real. Like, you ain't really finna be, if somebody is trying to talk to you, like times he said he was trying to talk to Ksoo and all that shit, you ain't really trying to hear that shit. Like, man, you been gone 12 years. And his mind shit real out here. I ain't really trying to hear all that shit. Even in the Say Cheese interview, Blue said that Crazy K and them told him, you know what I mean? You know, you can't just be walking down the street no more. This shit ain't like how it used to be, you know what I mean? Because niggas play for keeps. Meaning like, they'll hit your father, they'll hit a family member. You know what I mean? So, you know, he warned him then, you know what I mean? And as Blue being a street guy, you know what I mean? He know what that warning mean. Like, you know, you can play crazy all you want, but you know, you was in the streets, you know how this shit go. If your sons tell you just walking down the street to the store, you can't really just be loafing like that, you know what I mean? Which is lacking. You can't just be out here like that, because niggas will hit you to try to make a statement, you know what I mean? So a person can say all day like, oh man, you know what I mean? I truly don't know this and that, but I mean, you said it yourself that your daughter was watching his page for you, and anytime he would post some reckless shit, you know what I mean, you on his ass, pause, you know what I mean? And like I say, man, when you been gone as much as Blue 12 years, man, I ain't gonna cap, man. Even if he was 3 years old when he came home and he double digits now, you know what I mean? A person may look up to you and because you know your name was in the streets, you know what I mean? As far as they say you was getting money, you own a auto body shop, all type of shit. Brandon Crouch, 98, 94. But other than that, the interview, like I say, go check that shit out, man. It was with Birdman brother, Gangster, you know what I mean? Terrence or whatever. Hot boy Gangster. And give me your insight, you know what I mean? Give your personal insight, you know what I mean? Because I watched it and analyzed it, and to me, that nigga like, I'm finna live my life. I got other kids. I'm moving forward. He still talked to Crazy K. Crazy K called him, and he said Crazy K and Ksoo and ATK started that. Well, Crazy K and Ksoo and them started that ATK shit, you know. But I'm gonna tell you some shit, right? Because I got locked up before, so I'm gonna tell y'all some real shit. I don't care how close you and the individual is, man. When you catch time like that, they gonna accept your calls and shit when they can and all of that. But man, life goes on. And then at some point, with him doing life in Florida, and life is life, trust me, because I'm from there. You start realizing that, man, you threw your life away for some pointless ass shit, man. You know what I mean? Like everything was cool when it was gang, gang, gang. You know what I mean? Living fast lifestyle, living it up. You know what I mean? Even his daddy said he owned his mama house, so Crazy K and him, they didn't have to pay no bills or nothing. You know what I mean? He kind of like, when you do time like that, even if your kids is 18 and over, you still treat them like they not 18 and over, like they underage and shit like that. So he said it himself in a Say Cheese interview that, Crazy K and Ksoo was kind of living free fall, like they ain't have to worry about paying no bills because he took care of all of that shit or whatever. So I don't know, man. I just wish he wouldn't have wilded out as much, man. You know what I mean? Like he he had kind of lost himself. Even when you go back and look at the videos, I mean, he would just blankly just put it out there, and it's hard to beat that. You know what I mean? And I don't care who a nigga is, right? You don't be born into this world planning to do a life sentence, dog. It don't work like that. Like I don't care how savage a nigga say he is, how turned he is, how much belt he laying in the streets. It's not You're not born to do life, bro. You know what I mean? Like it's not meant for us to just be born and be in a cage in a box, bro. And then I ain't gonna lie, the prison shit 10 times more worse. You know what I mean? Like okay, yeah, you got a phone and all of that. You staying tapped in. You know what I mean? But it's a saying. It's called out of sight, out of mind. You know what I mean? And yeah, when you in the county still and all that, you still can look out the window and you still feel like you there. But once you get on that bus shackled up with a stranger, and then you riding and you looking out and you getting that last look at the city wherever you from, I'm gonna keep it real with you. That's when that shit really hit you. Like you be like, damn, like because you already know they finna send your ass out somewhere where you only see cows and trees or farm or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like you do have that moment where you like, damn, and then it get even worse because when you arrive there on your bus, you chained up to somebody. Soon as you get off, you got them boys waiting on you. So you think you just finna step off the bus on some calm shit. No, they finna rush y'all, get y'all in there, strip you down, have 60 niggas lined up, y'all all naked. You know what I mean? You can't talk about, oh, what you won't do and all that shit. You'll end up in the infirmary, they gonna stretch you out. You know what I mean? Humiliating you, telling you to hold your hands up. Don't care if your pecker was soft or hard, which is it should be hard anyway, but you know what I mean? They don't care. All of that. insecure shit is out the window, you know what I mean? They gonna humiliate you, make you turn around, put your hands on the wall like you finna get pat down, you know what I mean? And it had you lift the bottom of your feet, squat, and all of that shit, you know what I mean? Spread your cheeks and all of that, you know what I mean? Make sure you ain't got no contraband in there or nothing. One thing about that shit, had you in there all day. You got to take an AIDS test, take a STDs test. You got to do all these different things and all of that shit. It's gonna take all day. They gonna bag lunch your ass, you know what I mean? With a milk and the apple and the sandwich inside the bag. You know what I mean? Like, you coming, a lot of people be fresh off the streets compared to other people. So you still got certain memories you holding on to because you ain't really been too far removed from the trenches, you know what I mean? When you got other dudes, they've been gone 2, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 8 years, 10s, 15s, 16s, 21 years, 25 years. Niggas talking about they been locked up since 2000. You know what I mean? So, it's like, I don't care how savage you is, man. You know what I mean? Yes, you adapt to your environment. You know what I mean? Like, whatever the environment is on, you get on, okay? But to live like that forever is just not the way of life, dog. Like, at some point, you want peace. You know what I mean? You want calmness. You know what I mean? You want change. You know what I mean? Growth. You know what I mean? Prosperity. You know what I mean? You just want better things. You know what I mean? The point of making mistakes, and not mistakes that cost you for life, but the point of making mistakes is you learn from the mistakes. You know what I mean? Like, if you commit a mistake, you learn from it to avoid it not happen again. You know what I mean? Some mistakes are deep where some people don't recover. But if you're fortunate enough and you can recover from the mistake, you can learn from it and tell yourself and say, you won't allow yourself to be played or, you know what I mean, a certain way no more. You know what I mean? So, but it's like when you go the Queso mistake, and like I say, I'm from Florida and life is life. I don't give a fuck what a nigga telling you. You know what I mean? Yes, people have hopes and appeals and all of that, but appeals, I know dudes who know they ain't never going home, bro. I'm gonna keep it real. I done been locked up with dudes who know they ain't never going home, and they used to just file appeals. And people out there who been locked up before, they know what I'm talking about. Like, some dudes used to just file shit just to go back to their county, just to see the city type shit. You know what I mean? Because you might go back there. You know what I mean? Sometimes niggas used to be gone a month. Now I don't. Some niggas might have went back on some other shit. You know what I mean? You never really know. You know what I mean? You ain't always asking nigga their paperwork. Let me see what you really going back on. But I know dudes who used to just file that shit just for the fuck of it, just to go back and see the city. You know what I mean? They ain't seen the city in hella years. You know what I mean? And they want that feeling because one thing they do know is out of sight, out of mind. You know what I mean? Prison teach you that shit fast. You know what I mean? If you and your girl was doing y'all thing a couple times a day, and then all of a sudden you think they're just gonna stop, and you living in an illusion that your girl ain't doing nothing. But the thing is, even if she is and she accepting your calls, come and see you like twice a month, you ain't gonna lie, you gotta respect it. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, there's some dudes out there who really living in an illusion that they doing 4, 5, 6 years, 8-year sentences or whatever. And that if you was banging your chick 4, 5 times a day, that she just all of a sudden just going celibate. You know what I mean? And it don't work like that. Like, I done been locked up with dudes who you walk by them, they slitting their wrist type shit, or they, you know what I mean? Like, they girls selling stuff that he might have had on the streets before he left. You know what I mean? Y'all in here hit that like button. So, and then I'm gonna tell you, like, when you in Queso situation, like, it done been times, right? Like, I done been in situations where I done seen dudes who got like 33 years. I'm standing right next to them, you know what I mean? And a lot of the stories that dudes talk about in jail, as far as whether they was making it rain in clubs, traveling, going here, going there, you feel kind of crazy because a lot of dudes ain't experienced it. You know what I mean? Like, they be like, damn, you know what I mean? Like, I committed this crime at a young age. They might have had some little bow wow love, puppy love shit, but like, they didn't actually like go through like real relationship type shit, like paying bills, you know what I mean? Not just living with a chick, like, you know what I mean? Like, partnership type shit, you know what I mean? So You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of situations like that in prison, you know what I mean, where a lot of dudes got locked up when they was young, and they might have, you know, had a little girlfriend or whatever, but they didn't experience the adult part of shit, you know what I mean? And all of that. So, um, one thing about prison, you know what I mean, besides pictures and you know what I mean, and all that shit, now niggas got phones and all that, so niggas got Facebook, all type of shit now, so they can keep in tune to really what's going on, you know what I mean? But it's like, okay, you doing that, but in the end, man, you know what I mean? Out of sight, out of mind, you know what I mean? And then when you out here in this free world, man, shit moving, you know what I mean? Like, shit moving, you know what I mean? And I know some people, I done been a dude who stood on the G code term as far as, you know what I mean? You got dudes you leave behind when you leave and you reach back out to them, send them money, you know what I mean? Pictures at the time and all of that shit or whatever. But I really realized a lot of shit, right? Like a lot of them dudes though, like who you do all that shit for, you stop by, and you know what I mean, throw their baby mama money, check on, hey, you good, hit my line. You ain't trying to cross no line, nothing. Like I'm speaking from experience. Like I got homegirls who my partner was like that, they could tell you like Rio ain't never tried me or none of that shit. Like he was a real nigga type shit, right? But I'm gonna tell you some shit that I learned, right? You and a nigga could go to war together, locked up, all type of shit, man, right? He could be in there dogging, dissing everybody who he quote unquote was taking care of, and y'all cross paths, so you kind of know some of the shit he's saying is legit. You know what I mean? And y'all might have even done business. You know what I mean? So the niggas who they was shitting on in jail, they get out and go hang with them niggas again, bro. And you and him don't even deal with each other no more. Like y'all don't even fuck with each other. Y'all don't hit each other line. You straight, none of that like that. Like, so I learned my lesson from a lot of you know what I mean, experiences on my own, you know what I mean? Like, you could keep it 100 with a nigga all day, man, you know what I mean? And then you got some niggas who'll use you, if you that nigga, they'll use you for muscle in prison, like, meaning like, you know, niggas on the street ain't really rock with them like that, but then they get locked up, and then they run with the right nigga, and then it's kind of like a cover for them, you know what I mean? Because you playing up under a nigga, but you not for real. You just doing what you got to do to survive. And then some people say, well, you can't knock a person. You know what I mean? But like I said, you do all that real nigga shit, right? And then you and a dude don't even end up speaking no more. You know what I mean? Like I got a lot of little young niggas who I raised, you know what I mean? And all that shit. And it'd be weird when I hear a nigga, when you see, and this another thing too, this how phony niggas is, right? You'll see a nigga, right, who you raised, right? Gave a nigga the world, you know what I mean? When nobody didn't even rock with him. You know what I mean? Nobody believed in him. He was they was insecure, all type of shit, right? You build a nigga confidence up, all type of shit. Treat a nigga uh like a child, you know what I mean? And he get older and like I said, y'all don't even speak now, type shit. You know what I mean? You don't put your life on the line for him. Got blicks pulled out, situations that ain't had nothing to do with me. You know what I mean? And when you love somebody more than yourself, sometimes you got to fall back because you can't be loving somebody more than yourself, meaning like you willing to crash out and throw yourself on the line, and this individual won't even do it for you. You know what I mean? They kind of getting like the entertainment side of the shit, like watching you crash out. You know what I mean? So, you know, with friendships and quote unquote brotherhood, man, you got to really be cautious how you moving out here. You know what I mean? Because what you view and what you committed to, the next person might not be committed to. You know what I mean? You might be committed to standing on business, and at 3 in the morning, your nigga call you, you up, ready to go, you know what I mean, and lay belt, you know what I mean? But that's all cool. And y'all might be the same, you know what I mean? But once they divide you and the laws get involved, you know what I mean? And now you got a chance to slow down now because you ain't popping pills, you ain't drinking, you ain't smoking a million blunts and all that shit. You ain't, you know what I mean? You ain't out hunting, looking for, you know what I mean, ops. You know what I mean? Reality kick in. You know what I mean? I just seen some footage of a nigga who got caught up in a situation. His young ass in the courtroom crying. Nigga, what are you crying for? You were smiling in the mugshot. You know what I mean? Now you it's preliminary hearing. Now you want to be crying. It's too late for that. It's kind of remind me of what Oskino from State Property, Oskino Vasquez told his son Muji, who caught a body and trying to talk all this peaceful shit. It's like, nah, you was a savage on the street. See, one thing about it, if you killed somebody on the streets and you was a savage and all of that, don't try to go and change now type shit. Nah, you finna go with other savages too. So like Oskino told Muji, you got to turn your savage up now. You know what I mean? So this ain't the time to be just um you know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm trying to calm down because jail don't work like that. Like prison don't work like that. Like prison actually works backwards. Like if you think you just gonna come in now, yes, you have some dudes who skate under the radar, but it's very rare. You have to affiliate yourself with at least somebody. It ain't no, I don't fuck with nobody and ain't nobody gonna do nothing to me and all this shit. Okay, because you got to remember, just as well as God got people that work for him, the devil got people that work for him. And it's all type of evilness, one-on-ones up in that shit. So for you to make it and do years and make it out, even if you was a flogging ass nigga, I gotta give you credit for because it's dangerous in there. Like you'll be the person who see things happen to people, but it didn't happen to you. You know what I mean? Because you got to learn very quickly what situations to put yourself in and what not to put yourself in. You know what I mean? And one thing about me, I'm very sharp on up. I'm very observant. So, by the time something fly my way, I already know how to catch it. You know what I mean? So, like I say, I don't care how savage you is. Nobody is cool with doing life while you sitting there. You know what I mean? You got to do stand and count. You know what I mean? If somebody gets stabbed or broken leg and the ambulance got to come inside the gate, they got to lock the whole compound down. That means when you go get your ice and take your shower and all that shit, now it's pretty much over with now because by the time you come out, they give y'all like 20 minutes. It's 400 niggas in line, lined up with white towels trying to take a bird bath, basically, because you got to be in and out. You know what I mean? You want to be a little respectful, you know what I mean? So you want to be in and out. You know what I mean? Try to warm your food up. Dudes trying to put a break together right quick, all type of shit going on. So it's like, do you really want to, like, you cool with that? You know what I mean? But then again, like I say, you'll naturally just be going through your reels. You know what I mean? Like this on your phone, you know what I mean? And you'll just see dudes who taking pictures like with commissary all on the fucking floor. Like it's like I don't know, like me, like I come from like I'm on some real like different type shit. Like I don't know, like I don't be trying to post everything type shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm one of them dudes like I go different places, you know what I mean? And I go by myself, you know what I mean? Because I don't mind being not known. You know what I mean? And the problem with a lot of people is they want to be known so bad. Like if you leave for where you from, nobody don't know you. You damn near feel out your body. You feel weird. But see, me, I get the enjoyment out of that because see, I think opposite. Like if I go to Idaho, Texas, right, or some shit, right? Nobody don't know me, right? Some shit hit the fan, I lay belt immediately, right? You know what I mean? Like I'm out. You feel me? Like you know what I mean? Like like it's people be scared, man. Like they talk like they living like that, but like chances make champions. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like I ain't never been scared to go nowhere. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna go where I want to go. You know what I mean? That ain't talking like out of like cockiness, like because you could go where you want to go and it could cost you, you know what I mean? But you got to know that, you know what I mean? But ain't nobody finna tell me where I can't go, you know what I mean? Like if I want to go somewhere, I'm gonna go, you know what I mean? But I'm pretty good at like blocking out certain situations, you know what I mean? So I see things that happen to people that just, I don't put myself in those situations for that shit to happen, you know what I mean? I'm more of a, I'm more of an observer, like, you know what I mean? Like some people like to play chess. I get pleasure out of watching the people play chess. You know what I mean? Like that's my excitement of it. Like I don't like to play it. I just like to see both parties play and who what moves each other gonna make. You know what I mean? That's my enjoyment right there. You know what I mean? So yeah, people can't say, oh, he gonna be straight. Like, and I'm gonna tell you some shit too, right? That I don't like, right? That I be seeing people say too, right? Like a person, family member, or somebody they love get locked up, right? Even if it's 18 months, 2 years, right? People be like, oh man, go, or 3 years or some shit. They be like, man, go knock that little shit down. There's nothing. They'll be right back. Free such and such. This is what people fail to realize, right? Like, people really think when you go to jail, you guaranteed to make it back. Like, the people just fucking stupid, dog. Like, the shit I see people do, like, they be like, you're gonna knock that little 9 months out. Like, you really think is meant for Lil Corey or whoever to make it don't work like that. Like, I know niggas who died the night before they went home, like lose an eye. You know what I mean? Like, literally finna go home the next day, gave all his shit away, got a fresh cut, all of that, and decided to jump into some bullshit, and it cost him. You know what I mean? Nigga leaving like he part of the Pirates of the Caribbean now. You know what I mean? Like, people just dumb, bro. Like, I don't be in the mix. I don't be a part of what other people do. I do my Tribe Gang TV. I do my own thing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get caught up in trying to be um on that. Like I told you, I grew out that shit. Like all that free such and such, free this nigga. Niggas I fuck with don't go to jail. You know what I mean? Like niggas I fuck with, they responsible. You know what I mean? They doing what adults do. They handling their business. You know what I mean? They ain't out doing no monkey ass shit. And then another thing too with you niggas, right? Because I don't know why the fuck you niggas from jail feel like y'all could reach out to me. Like, okay, if you and an individual cross paths, right, in the streets, like when you was in the streets, okay, y'all cross paths, y'all may know of each other, meaning like, I don't know where you stay, but we just know of each other as far as, we just know of each other through affiliations, right? We cross paths, bro. Don't fucking be in my inbox, nigga, from prison, nigga. I come home, nigga. I don't give a fuck when you come home, nigga. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't, like, that shit be weird, man. I be having all type of weird ass niggas, you know what I mean? Like, in my inbox, like, literally holding a conversation with they self type shit, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even know you, nigga. And if I did, like, I don't remember you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, nigga, look, man, when you out here and you free so much shit going on, man, I ain't no nigga, especially me, like, man, nigga, I ain't trying, I don't remember a lot, man. You know what I mean? I ain't no nigga. I don't even want to remember, even if I met you in jail, I don't even want to remember that shit. Like, that ain't something that I'm proud of. I don't even want to see a nigga and a nigga be like, when we locked up, nah, like I ain't even heard no shit like that in so many years, my nigga. I'm far removed from that type of shit. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that, you know what I mean, it can't happen type shit, but I'm just saying, like, I don't be up with JPay, L-Way, Lil Way, whatever fucking way you put money on phones. That ain't what I do. I don't do none of that shit. And the only reason I really feel like I'm like that, because like when I was locked up, right? And I had several niggas who, you know what I mean, I don't never say nothing that can't be vouched for. When I was locked up, I didn't fucking, like, could you imagine some shit like this, right? This how thorough a nigga was. I watched every nigga around me get love. You know what I mean? It didn't cry about that shit whatsoever. Never hated whatsoever. When them niggas would come back from a visit, or they moms would send pictures in with their kids, all type of shit, birthday cakes and all that shit. Like, I always congratulated that shit, nigga. I never, nigga, you know what I mean? I took that shit with an L, nigga. You know what I mean? Like, I was doing time in another state. And it's like every nigga around you getting visits, getting love, and I'm gonna be real, that that shit'll harden you a little bit. Meaning, like, you know what I mean? Like, you might become a little relentless a little bit, you know what I mean? And then, you know what I mean? But a real friend and a real supporter is somebody who could be in a situation like that, and you can see all your surroundings getting love, and the only love you getting is from God and them niggas around you, because they understand your situation, you know what I mean? Like, I've been fortunate through my path and my, you know what I mean, my journey through life, to come across a lot of real solid individuals. You know what I mean? Like, real brotherhood type shit. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like this, right? Real friends is people who, even if y'all ain't seen each other in years, it's like when y'all see each other, it's that real bond never left type shit. You know what I mean? And I had a lot of niggas I fuck with in jail, but at the time, the old me at the time when this was going on, I done had superior ass members type niggas as homies, but like two niggas who I'ma really say, which is my nigga Tug and my nigga Beans. You know what I mean? Like real niggas. You know what I mean? I'm gonna tell you why I never not believe in God, because like God will put certain people in your life, dog. Like, and even if you don't understand it, they play certain pivot roles in your life for a reason. You know what I mean? We don't be knowing how long, but basically you gotta soak it up. You know what I mean? While you and that individual dealing with each other and shit. You know what I mean? But like them two niggas who I just said, like niggas is building a brand, you know what I mean? You know, niggas doing their own thing. And it's still love to this day. You know what I mean? One thing about Ksoo situation, I read a comment somebody say, man, it might be like 10 years or some shit before it really hit them. Nah, my nigga. When I told y'all, when you get off that bus and you chained up to an individual stranger, like y'all married, and then the moment you get out, how they rushing you off, and you know what I mean, got y'all in a line and lining y'all up on the wall, you know what I mean? And the humiliation part of that shit, trust me, man. And then by the time you get in, because you ain't gonna get into your pod or your dorm, wherever you at, until like later on that night. Man, they done had y'all at 2,400 niggas in a size 5x5 goddamn storage type shit, cutting your hair off, AIDS test, all type of shit. You ain't gonna get to where you sleep at, man, to 8, 9 at night. And then I'm telling you, man, that shit ain't the life, dog. Like for real. You know what I mean? Like if you somebody who got goals and you can see yourself achieving something sitting on a certain mountaintop, then prison ain't for you. You know what I mean? Yes, we all capable to go to jail. You know what I mean? Hit that like button while y'all in here. We all, because prison and jail is two different things. You know, jail, you could go to jail and go to jail for some psychotic crazy shit and be done for, but jail is really supposed to be like a learning experience for real. Like, listen, you damn near finna go to prison. You know what I mean? You better tighten up. You know what I mean? That's what jail really supposed to be. So I know people who just went to jail and they that was it for them. Like they learned from that shit. They like, nah, that ain't me. You know what I mean? Like, nah, I'm good, bro. That ain't me. You know what I mean? And them the smart ones. Listen, I'm gonna tell you how backwards the streets is, right? At one point in time, like hella years ago, like even to some, it's still like that a little bit now too though. But like years ago, it was like major though, like, and a lot of niggas who I know can vouch for this shit, right? Like years ago, like 20 years ago, like 2000, early 2000, shit like that. Like if you had a job and a street nigga, look, man, you was like a lame type nigga. Like that's how mentally sucked into the street life. It'll have you to the point where you a little down on a working man type shit. You know what I mean? Like that's completely backwards. Like he ain't getting no money too type shit. You know what I mean? Like it's just in a different way. You know what I mean? Like that's how sucked in the streets to have you thinking that you better that you better than a nigga who working and guaranteed to be on the streets with his kids or whoever he love versus you playing Russian roulette with your life. You know what I mean? Like that's how sucked in the streets have you. You know what I mean? And that's backwards. You know what I mean? Like the street nigga is never better than the man who's smart enough to go get a degree and you know what I mean, or join a tech field or all these different things. You know what I mean? It's just I feel like the faster you make the money, the faster you spend it. But like if you got a job or you got a career in a field or you got your own business, yeah, that money come, but like it you might be a little bit more disciplined versus the street nigga who got liquid cash, so much access to liquid cash, you know what I mean, to the point that, you know what I mean, he reckless. He feel like in order when they go out, everything got to be on him, the booth, the bottles, the ones for the, you know what I mean, everything, you know what I mean? So, um, when you in Queso situation, you can be mad at your father all day because they say he had put up a post saying how he was gonna wait on his father to pass away, right? You know what I mean? And that's just coming from the kid, the inner kid side of him once viewing his dad as a hero to now where he don't fuck with him no more, you know what I mean? Because his dad testified on him, you know what I mean? And when you so caught up in the streets like Queso, you probably ain't even thinking about that you shouldn't have did the crime. In your mind, you probably feel like I shouldn't have had Crazy K call him or some shit, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? So that's what you probably thinking about, you know what I mean? But like I say, you was wilding, you know what I mean? You got to take accountability, you know what I mean? And I know you probably don't understand that now, but at some point you will because, you know, dudes like to get in there at some point and do interviews and shit like that and say how they converted to a certain religion and they trying to talk to the youth and all that shit. And you know, you was lost, you know what I mean? And you know, you was wild and you weren't trying to hear. So what makes you think that they ain't trying to hear that shit nowadays, bro? You know what I mean? Like I told you, I used to try that shit. I used to have little niggas around me, you know what I mean, and all of that. No, wouldn't let them sell no drugs, all that shit. So, but then, you know, as a person get older, they come into themselves and, you know what I mean, some people create their own destiny, their own journey, you know what I mean? Ain't nothing wrong with that, you know? But like I say, you just don't get no rewards out of doing real shit no more. You know what I mean? And people got to wake up to that shit. Like, ungratefulness is a disease like an addiction, man. You cannot be an ungrateful person, you know what I mean? It's a major ill for your character, you know what I mean? Like, you should be appreciative, you know what I mean? You should be thankful if you just got chicken and rice to eat with a loaf of bread, you know what I mean? You should just be grateful, you know what I mean? Like, everybody trying to scam and get over on somebody nowadays. That's the main thing now. Whether you got somebody sending you a friend request about Bitcoin or um, you know what I mean, did you invest in SpaceX like 2 Chains or whatever the fuck? Like, you know, just everything is money, 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 money. I'm trying to get over on somebody. Even motherfucking apps and shit got, you know what I mean, where you can borrow money, you know what I mean? And then, you know what I mean, you do that, it put you in a hole. Everything is just transaction related nowadays and about money, you know what I mean? And it's like, yes, we need money to survive. You gotta have money, you know what I mean? But we talking about as far as people who try to get over on people for the money. You know what I mean? Like, they need to figure out a hustle for themselves instead of trying to take the cheap route and get over on somebody, you know what I mean? Create a hustle for yourself. And then it's a lot of people, they don't even want to hustle. They just want to live off your hustle. You know what I mean? And you got to be a person like me. That's zero tolerance. Like, I'm not finna put in no work, do all this type of shit. And then you just was around and you reap the benefits of that shit. Like, that don't even fucking make sense. You know what I mean? Like, you ain't never, ever once gave a flying F about none of my shit. And then I strike a deal or some shit like that. And upgrade my lifestyle and all of that, you supposed to join me? Like, I don't think it worked like that. Like, no, I don't think it. You can't piss on my head and tell me it's rain. I don't think it's supposed to work like that. You know what I mean? It's supposed to be like some point of effort being shown. You know what I mean? So it's like, I ain't in the business of carrying nobody. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? You got to hold your own. You know what I mean? Because I've been holding mine for a very long time. You know what I mean? To the point my back hurt, you know what I mean? But I still keep going. That's how long I've been holding. You know what I mean? So, like, choices that we make, you know what I mean? It could cost you, you know what I mean? And it's on you to allow it to go deep. And, you know what I mean? You allow it to go deep, you might not recover from it. You know what I mean? So, Ksoo situation, man. I hate to see him going out like that. Like I say, I was really rocking with him. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? Hey, I mean, now his new life journey begins. Cause like I told y'all in Florida, life is life, bro. You don't shake back from that, bro. For real. Life is life, for real. You know? I'm gonna switch it up a little bit because this right here is kind of like in my field, you feel me? We all be doing this branding shit, right? So, as you can see right there, my boy Killer Cam has been representing Pink Horsepower, which is his brand. You know what I mean? And, you know, he been rolling strong for a few years now and shit. Like, I looked it up. And they say, damn, that shit grossed over like 10 M's. You know what I mean? So, but I'm going to tell you something, though. I heard that some guy just tried to file a lawsuit against him and all that shit, right? Saying that it done something to him. But what people fail to realize is, right, when you take these brands, it clearly, but they, this what, matter of fact, this is what he was saying. He was saying it wasn't no side effects on the bottle. Like, basically, he just saying the bottle just say Pink Horsepower. Like, it don't say no side effects or nothing like that. Just like how the same shit they do on TV, and then right when it's about to say the side effects, when they be like diarrhea and now you get shit and vomiting, all this, they say it real fast and all that or whatever. That's what he basically complained about, saying that he took it. But listen, the lawsuit ain't valid. That was a self thing. What people fail to realize is this: they're just like me. I got my own dietary supplement. You know what I mean? It's legit. You know what I mean? Tribalist effect. Like I say, go on my page. You know what I mean? $60 a bottle. It's a 30-day supply. You take 2 capsules a day. You know what I mean? And you can read, you know what I mean, what you are taking, like on the bottle. You know what I mean? Like, you know what you are taking. You know what I mean? And it says dietary supplement. You know what I mean? And he trying to say, but if he knew that, I mean, who just buys anything and then don't like look at it? You know what I mean? It damn near look like a jar from a dispensary, you feel me? So it's kind of cool. You're gonna look at it, look around and all that. But to me, man, I feel like, man, listen, man, it ain't valid. That shit ain't valid, and it's not gonna stand, you know what I mean? Because everybody's body reacts to shit different. You know what I mean? Like, for 1 million other people that loves it, you know what I mean? That don't mean that you could try it and your body may love it. You know what I mean? You may have some shit in from your previous history that your mom and dad, it might be hereditary or something, you know what I mean? And you might not, your body might can't handle it, and it might give you a real bad side effect, you know what I mean? So the dude who complaining and all that to money filed on a lawsuit against Cam and all this shit, I don't think it's valid or whatever. You know what I mean? Nowadays people just want to try anything for the bag, you know what I mean? Like, whatever quick come up study, like I said 40 lives ago, finding a passion, I mean, well, knowing your passion and what you want to do, and then start doing it, you know what I mean? Like, yes, you might not be able to start off buying bulk. You might have to start off like damn near like some trap type shit, you know what I mean? Instead of 5 stones, you might 5 shirts, but you selling them for 35 a piece or something. You know what I mean? Then, go back, re-up, woo, 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 and you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? People be making excuses, talking about, you know what I mean? Oh, I'm gonna buy the equipment, or I'm gonna do this and that. What's going on? You ain't made no investment yet. Like, you know what I mean? What's up? Like, people think that a podcast now is you just going live on your phone and you in your living room. You got a podcast now. Yeah, that's all. You know what I mean? You don't sell nothing, you don't hustle nothing, you just run your mouth. That's all you do. You know what I mean? Like, just run your mouth. Like, I don't be on this bitch for no reason, bro. I got a brand, I got a store, Tribe Culture TV 83, Shopify app. You know what I mean? Download the app. And like, I don't, you know what I mean? Yes. You know what I mean? We chat, we kick it or whatever and shit like that. But like, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, man, I got a brand and I'm trying to, you know what I mean, expand and promote it. You feel me? But yeah, man, I'm in this same lane as Cam, you know what I mean? And like I say, man, everybody need to understand this, man. What's for somebody else is not for you. Just because it worked for them, it may not work for you. Sometimes you might just need to go natural. Water, diet, and cardio. You know what I mean? And that can help your blood flow pump to where it pumps to your pelvis too, and you can get the effect that you want. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Sometimes these drugs or whatever from that you ordering and all of that shit, gas station pills and all that shit, it don't always work. You know what I mean? It don't always hold its end. You feel me? So keep that in mind. But try Gang TV. You know what I mean? Like, comment, share this video, subscribe. You know what I mean? Go to my YouTube post, check for updates. You know what I mean? Hold it down. Try Gang TV. We out.